Hello, and welcome to The Pool is Abstract, where we're currently rewatching and dissecting the revived series of Doctor Who episode by episode. My name is Connor, and with me is the woman who I would travel the universe for thousands of years with. It's Charlotte.
Ah, that was nice.
Yeah, you like that one?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Hello.
Charlotte, we're covering today fan favourite episode.
This is less nice.
From series 2. It's episode 11. It's Fear Her.
I fear this.
This aired originally on June 24th, 2006, and was written by Matthew Graham. Just gonna leave it there.
Did he write anything else?
Well,
Did they allow him back?
right, so I have an interesting thing here. No, he didn't write for Who again.
Oh,
But do you know who Matthew Graham is?
no.
Matthew Graham is the co-creator of Life on Mars.
Is he?
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know. Life on Mars is very good. For anyone who hasn't seen it, I highly recommend Life on Mars. It's one of my favourite shows.
And Ashes to Ashes.
Yes, and its follow-up, Ashes to Ashes, both are very good. In fact, protagonist of Life on Mars, Sam Tyler.
He's also in Doctor Who.
Well, yes, but that's not what I was going to say.
Oh.
I was going to say that the character's name's Sam Tyler. Tyler was named after Rose Tyler.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, apparently when creating Life on Mars, he was, I think he has his daughter or something, like ideas for a surname, and she suggested Tyler based off of Rose Tyler. So
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
yeah, but Matthew Graham, I love Life on Mars. This ain't it. This ain't it, pal.
No.
This is
I'm sorry. Yeah, no.
This is the worst episode we've covered so far.
I think the story is fine, but the execution, no.
You blaming Euros? You blaming Euros Lynn, our director?
Apparently so, yes. I don't know who was in charge of this. But they shouldn't have been.
Yeah, so spoiler-free discussion. This episode's not great. Yeah, I think it's the worst one we've covered so far.
Yeah, that we've covered.
You still think Love and Monsters is worse than this?
See,
It's not.
because there's parts of Love and Monsters that is brilliant.
There are parts of Love and Monsters that are genuinely very good.
Yes.
And Love and Monsters at its worst is a bit silly. With
I
this,
don't know whether I would say that.
This at its worst is
It doesn't have
dull and or annoying.
it doesn't have Peter Kay in a weird latex costume running round like
That's right, it's a bit silly.
I wouldn't say it's
Love and Monsters is not an episode that I would describe as boring, and it's not an episode I would describe as like just I don't know, I'm trying to think of what this makes me feel. It's just
a slog.
yeah, I don't feel like Love and Monsters is a slog. I understand the issues people have with it. I know why people don't like it, but I think it never stoops as low as this one does. And this one never stoops as high, or never kind of peaks as high as Love and Monsters does.
Maybe.
I feel like this is the worst one.
No, but okay.
Yeah. Do you have anything to say about this one?
I don't, but I have quite a few notes.
Okay. We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I have.
You know that I've got stuff to say when I have notes.
Yeah. I mean, we did say just before we started recording, I have a feeling this is going to be a short one.
Maybe, but we've said that before and it's been very long. So.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. So here's hoping my notes are legible because I was very quick writing these up. So, right. So getting into the episode, we've got kind of small street. Two kids are playing football in the yard, and some old woman's coming down the street. Her name is Maeve. Maeve Griffiths. Yeah.
Well, we've got a London 2012 Olympics sign.
Yes. Set in the then near future.
Yeah, I haven't.
Now with 13 years in the past.
I haven't watched. Oh God! Don't say that.
This is set the same year as Dalek.
Somewhere else in the universe, Rose is. Or
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah, Rose is in Utah. Yeah,
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah, I forgot it was set at the Olympics.
Right. Okay. It's the entire backdrop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
completely forgot that.
Yeah.
This is a solution at the end. Forgot that.
Yeah. So we got Maeve, the old lady, walking down the street, And she tells the kids who are playing football in the garden, she's like, oh, get inside, quick.
This is like a really interesting / odd scene.
Right.
Because she looks so lost. She's like, it's like, I'm not going to lie, for a moment I thought when she goes up to the woman to say that things aren't right, and, you know, can't you sense it in the air? I thought she was going to be like, I don't know where my home is. The street is spun, and now she's like, I don't know where I am. I don't know where I live.
Oh.
It was just quite an unusual shot.
Oh, it's the shot you think that did it?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say it was this lady's performance.
I mean, a little bit, but like the fact that she's standing there kind of like disturbed a little bit, and the camera's like spinning round her, and she's kind of like looking side to side a little bit.
Yeah. Well, she tells the kids to get inside. She's like, get inside, it's not safe. And at the same time, like literally like 3 feet to the left, the father of these children is like washing the car with a hose.
Yeah.
He's like, what's wrong? They ain't done nothing wrong, leave them alone. And
She's like, can't you feel it? It's in the air.
yeah, she
It's
goes,
happening again.
yeah, she goes, it likes seeing them play. Get them inside.
Oh my God. This one thing I will say about this episode, right, before we get into it further, my God, most of the actors are hamming it up.
I guess they know what kind of episode they're
This
in.
is the hammiest Doctor Who episode.
Can you imagine if the performances were like this in the Satan pit? Like,
Carry on.
So this is when we cut to a shot where we see across the street, up on the first floor, or second floor for you Americans, there's a little girl watching out the window. Oh, she does look kind of creepy in that
I literally
shot.
put in my notes, so effing weird. she's just like, her hands like placed against the window.
Yeah.
And then she's just like,
She's standing in a way that no one ever would, other than to look creepy.
yeah. And then she starts singing.
Is she singing at this point?
Because it starts off with you just see a hand, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is the shot from outside the house.
Yeah.
Where we just see her kind of like silhouette and her hands on the window. And then when we cut inside, maybe she's singing here, I guess.
Yeah, she's like, it's like, oh God.
She starts drawing one of the boys that are playing football across the street. She's got a bunch of coloured pencils, and she's drawing him, and then Maeve is still arguing with the dad.
Yeah.
And then
He's like, they're right there.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna go anywhere.
yeah, and then woof, one's gone.
Poof. Disappeared.
Yeah, one of the kids disappears, and she's like, "Oh no, he's gone! He's taken him again!" And then we cut to the drawing that this girl has done.
The fact that she's like, again, put it back to, what's it called? Death Note, like speed.
Oh yeah.
Sketching at this
Especially
point.
because of like the sound effects they put in post.
Yeah.
It's like trying to make it like an action scene.
She's like, la la la. Like, the issue is I don't find her scary at this point.
I don't find it scary ever.
No, me neither. But it just feels kind of weird and cringy for me.
This is meant to be the scary bit where the camera pans down to the drawing she's done. She's drawn the kid, and then the drawing starts moving, and he kind of runs towards like if the page is a camera.
Yeah.
It's like running towards the camera. Obviously, the drawing's getting bigger, and he's like got his teeth out, and he's going, and he's like running closer. And that's literally our sting. That's the cold open, and this is when we get our titles.
I've got a question.
Yes.
So obviously this. How do I put this? This drawing looked like it's been done by a child.
Yes.
Right. Did they get a child to draw the different animations, or did they go to the art department and be like, draw like a child?
If it was made today, it would be done by AI or something.
Oh.
My question, I remember even thinking this as a kid, is obviously what we learn from this cold open and what we get further into the episode, but what we, the whole thing is that she draws people and they disappear. She kind of sucks them out of real life and puts them into the drawings.
Yeah.
children don't draw very good. So, like, if she just does, like, a circle and a generic kind of nose, mouth, set of eyes, is it just, like, randomly just picking the person who looks closest to that from the world?
Well...
Like, does it actually, like, I know it becomes about imagination, doesn't it? So she's like, hey, that's meant to be you across the street. But if the drawing looks nothing like them, will it still work?
I think so, yeah. Because I think
Like if she drew that, but if she's looking at that boy, but she drew him as a girl, would he still disappear?
Yeah, because she's choosing them, isn't she?
Yes.
She's not just drawing them. She's like, you.
Yeah, but they don't disappear until she completes the drawing. So
Maybe until in her mind that she's completed the drawing. Do you mean?
yeah,
Can
yeah.
you imagine
But that's
if
what I mean.
she
But does
was
the
like a
drawing
really-
have to look like them? That's what I'm saying. Like if she drew, I don't know, the kid but made him ginger for no reason, would he still have disappeared? Or would he have disappeared and when he comes back later, would he then be ginger?
Who knows? So I just like the idea of she's a perfectionist, and not until she's got it just right,
That'd
and
be like
she's
you.
happy with it.
You drawing one of these kids and just like rubbing his ear out every 5
Yeah.
minutes, giving it another go.
No,
He comes back to life, he's just missing an eye or
so
something.
it's like, oh no, that freckle isn't. But it's slightly further up on his cheek, or his nostrils are a little bit more flared.
Yeah. Effective cold open, do you think?
No,
Well, you're not scared? This doesn't set up the stakes for you?
I mean it's interesting.
Does it make you look forward to the 2012 Olympics?
Oh. I think it gives you questions and it draws you in,
Yeah.
but I'm not scared in
Yeah.
the slightest.
I'm not sure if the tone is meant to be scary or not, because I would say no, because like you said, everyone's camping it up, the tone of the episode's a bit weird, but then the bit at the end with the father,
Yeah.
I assume that's... We'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah. We'll just
Yeah. Right, so this is probably my favourite part of the episode.
I agree. This is maybe even of like the season.
Right, yeah.
But every time every time I watch this and I see this little scene, it gives me a chuckle.
Yeah. So after the titles, the TARDIS lands on the street in between two of those, massive metal containers. We all had them at school at some point. It's kind of, there's a gap between the two that's kind of perfectly TARDIS sized, and it lands between them. But it's the wrong way around.
The doctor opens the door.
The doctor opens
and
the
it's
door,
stuck.
goes to step out, and he's just facing this big metal container. He goes, oh. And then he just gets back inside. TARDIS
Reparked.
disappears and then reappears facing the right way.
And he's like, huh.
Yeah, so the Doctor and Rose leave the TARDIS and they're walking down the street. And yeah, we get our kind of establishing shot that this is the day of the opening ceremony of the 2012 Olympics.
I just want to make a quick little note.
Yeah.
So they're talking about, when they step out, they're talking about what year it is, and it's the near future, 2012.
Yeah.
And there's a Shane Ward poster on
Yes.
one, and I was like, Shane Ward wasn't relevant in 2012.
Yeah, that's really optimistic.
Poor Shane Ward, but no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
It's funny though, because this is, as funny as that is a nice little bit of Rose showing that she's kind of picking this up. Like, she's not just relying on the Doctor to tell her where she is. Do you know what I mean? They leave the TARDIS, she sees the poster, and she's like, ooh, near future. Like,
Yeah.
she just knows.
Yeah.
So the Doctor says something like, I had a hankering or something like that.
I love the idea of that's a jab. Looks at the Shane Ward poster. Near future. He's not going to be relevant
Could
in
be
50
yesterday, actually.
Yeah, he's not going to be relevant in 50 years' time.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's the 2012 Olympics. The Doctor starts telling Rose about the original Olympics.
Yeah.
He says, like, oh, Greece, it wasn't that long ago. There was just a bunch of Greek guys throwing a discus about. And then he goes off to list a bunch of...
He's just babbling as he's walking down the street, and Rose is slowly veering off to like the left.
Well, there's the bit where the Doctor starts talking about ball bearings.
Yeah.
He says that humans developed edible ball bearings. He loves those little cupcakes with edible ball bearings. No other species has developed edible ball bearings. What a great idea. Yeah. Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and like you said, Rose is kind of slowly drifting off.
She's like, Doctor.
Because she's seeing a missing person poster on a lamppost. Well, we actually see the guy, don't we, actually putting them on.
The dad from the...
Or was it him, was it?
I think so.
Right. she sees the poster, and it's not just a missing person, it's a missing child.
Well, there's multiple. There's like 3 or 4 different posters on this one lamppost.
Yeah, 3 kids in the street have disappeared. And Rose says, who would do something like this? And the doctor goes, and why is it so cold?
She said, what human, or why would any human...
why would a person do this? And the doctor says, what makes you think it was a person? Yeah.
Okay. She should know better by now.
Yeah. I like that's his jab at her. Have you learnt nothing?
Yeah.
He makes a comment that it's kind of cold. And on the street, we kind of have this divide of people focusing about different things. So we've got Camp A that are bothered about the disappearance of the children, and then we've got Camp B, which is basically the torchbearer for the Olympics is going to be passing by this street, so they want it to look perfect. 2 very different priorities in this street.
Well, before they all have their standoff, I just like to make a little note. The doctor runs over to the garden where the kids disappear.
Yeah.
And I've put, starts waving at the grass.
Right.
Because he's like...
Yeah, he goes to he's kind of tracing the residual energy of where one of the boys disappeared, and he feels like something in the air. He puts his hand on and he goes, tickles.
Yeah. He mentions later on that hairs on his hands stand up.
His manly man hands.
Manly, hairy hands.
Yeah. We have this shot where a guy in a car breaks down in the street, and Rose runs over to give a hand in kind of pushing it until it, the engine starts again. And that's when she meets our favourite guy. Councilman Cal.
Yeah, poor Cal.
She's like, do you want a hand, mate? And he's like, oh, it's all right. he looks like he's going to pop a blood vessel.
She's like, oh, I'm more capable than I look. And she's like, you're not. Like, it was something like that. She's like, you're struggling. I'm helping.
Yeah. So the Cal and Rose push this car, and then the engine restarts, and the guy drives off and is like, thanks, mate. And Cal basically says this has been happening all week. Weird. So the doctor's still kind of crouched down, just touching the air. And then the father comes out of the house. And he obviously sees the doctor on his garden.
Waving at the grass where his child disappeared.
Yeah, he goes, what's your game? And the doctor goes, snakes and ladders? Squash? I'm being facetious, aren't I? Doctor's a douche.
He is a douche.
So the guy starts kind of like confronting the doctor as if, what's he going to do, like beat him up? I don't know.
Maybe.
But the doctor's like backing off, like walking backwards as the guy's like confronting him. And he ends up in the middle of the street next to where Rose, Cal, and Maeve has now shown up as well.
Yeah.
He's like going, I am a police officer, honest.
Well, I like how Rose and Cal are just chatting about, because Cal says, oh, we're getting at the street perfect.
Yeah.
And then Maeve just walks past and goes, it takes them whilst they're playing. And Rose is like, what?
Maeve is deluded.
She's fucking unhinged.
Yeah. The doctor's like, I'm a police officer, and he shows the psychic paper.
Yeah.
And he looks at Rose, he's like, look, this is my accomplice.
He's like, she don't look like she's a copper.
Yeah, he goes, you don't look like a copper, she looks even less than you do. He's like, no, I am a copper. Look, he shows the psychic paper, and he's like, this is my like deputy officer Lewis, or whatever he says.
She's a training.
Yeah. Everyone's kind of arguing at this point because Maeve is like, why are you all being so blind? Everyone's taking the kids.
It's a thing.
Yeah, and then everyone's ganging up on Kel for some reason.
Oh my God,
this random woman.
Oh, no, it's the mother of the children that's disappeared. And they're like, they've disappeared ever since his kind came. And then the other councilman standing behind him, he's like, oh, there's slander.
Yeah, no, that's really tough because I remember the first time I watched this, and I remember thinking, oh, this is going to be a race thing.
Yeah,
when
I
she's
thought
like,
that.
oh, his kind. I thought it was going to be like, oh, a racist lady or whatever. And then she's got this thing against council.
He's like,
that's slander.
His kind, councilmen.
He's like, I've been digging up the road for the Olympics. And
she's like, you're taking kids in your van.
No, the dad's like, yeah, taking your time about it. He's like, what, you think I got kids locked up in the back of me van? She's like, I'm not saying that. And he's like, what are you saying, lady? Why is everyone ganging up on Kel?
I like I like the fact that Dad kind of does have a point. Why is it taking him a whole freaking week to put in some potholes?
Oh, he's just so passionate about his job. Do you see how excited he gets later?
And Rose just destroys it.
Well, let's not jump ahead.
Yeah, let's not jump ahead.
But yeah, everyone's arguing, and the doctor just yells, "Fingers on lips!"
Oh, this is...
And
the fact he looks at Rose as well, and she's like, okay. He's like, you too.
And the doctor, now everyone stopped arguing. The doctor basically says, "Now, 3 of your children have disappeared. Tell me what's going on." And Maeve is like, she kind of moves her finger, and she's like, "Can I talk?"
He's like, yes.
Yeah, he just waves his hand, doesn't he? Like, yes, go on. And Maeve basically says there's some kind of entity messing with the town. She says, "Look, I don't care if you're coppers or not. Can you please help us?" And they do.
He does. Then my second favourite scene of this episode.
Yeah.
It's just like a still shot of the garden, and then all of a sudden David Tennant's nose comes into frame, and he's going... Again, it made me laugh so much. So he's just like...
Like a beagle.
Yeah, just a little nose pops up at the rest of his face.
So Rose and the doctor they're on an investigation.
Yes, they are.
They kind of walk past all the areas where the boys had disappeared. They walk past that garden again. They walk through the alley where apparently one of the boys went through one end and he never came out. The doctor says that there's like a smell in the air. Rose says it kind of smells like metal. And the doctor says, yeah, like a burnt fuse. This is something I find really interesting about this because it sets up a lot of these things, do you know what I mean? About how, obviously we know the children are disappearing, but yeah, it's like, it smells like a burnt fuse and, what else was there? There was something else.
Like a weird energy.
Yeah.
Like obviously the doctor's hand, the hairs on his hand stand up.
Yeah. It's cold because all the heat's gone, things like that. Not a lot of it pays off. It
does, but they don't make a big thing of it.
It's like the heat does. The fact that it's cold pays off, but like smelling like a burnt fuse, like
I mean,
not really.
Well, it kind of the doctor kind of brings up the fact that it's because a huge amount of energy is being used.
Yeah, I know.
To move someone in space and time, but
that seems like a cop out to me. It seems like it sets up all these interesting, like, ooh, what's causing that? Why is it like this? Why is it like that? And then the answer is just kind of a hand wavy, like, just cuz.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right. Like, why is it so cold? I get that. That makes sense to me. And I feel like that pays off in a way that makes sense. But yeah, like some other things, I don't know. It just seems like it's trying to set things up to be mysterious, but not much of it works.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Now we cut to the girl in her room. We find out she's Chloe.
Yeah.
Her name is Chloe Webber. And she's looking at the picture of the boy she drew, and he's scowling at her.
And she's like, "Why are you unhappy?"
Yeah. Her mum walks into the room.
Her poor mum. It's poor mum.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, is that Dale? Why'd you draw him so sad?" And she's like, "I didn't draw him like that. He made himself sad." She's like, "So I'm going to draw him a friend." And then she starts drawing a cat.
Yeah, and she knew. The bitch. She decided just to take the cat. Do you know what I mean? She was like, you're next.
The mum obviously realizes that Chloe's become like a bit of a recluse, so she tries talking to her about the Olympics. She turns the TV on. She's like, "Look, we can watch this together. Aren't you excited about this? Don't you feel like you're going to be part of something?" And Chloe just goes, "Leave me alone unless you want me to draw you, Mum." And at this point, she's like, "All right, fine, stay in here then."
Freak.
You fucking weirdo.
What? Oh no, I'm quaking in my boots, threatening to draw me. Like, oh no.
Yeah. So she just leaves her in the room and she sods off. The doctor and Rose still kind of circling the street, and Rose sees a cat.
"Oh, aren't you a beautiful
She goes,
boy?"
"Look at you, beautiful boy." And the doctor goes, "Thanks, I'm experimenting with backcombing."
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh," when she sees her walk over to the cat.
Yeah, little ginger cat. And
I feel like that moment is very us. Like you just, me being like, "Oh, look at that handsome man." And you're like, "Oh." And then you just see me slowly like making my way to a random cat I found in the street. Just like, "Oh."
Yeah. Yeah, she goes, come here, puss. And she's like smoothing the cat. And the doctor's just pulling this face of just like, ugh. Like he looks grossed out by it.
I do like this bit though. She's like, oh, you don't like cats? And he's like, once you've been threatened by one in like a nun outfit, it kind of taints your experience.
Yeah.
That made me laugh. I like that.
Yeah. At this point, the cat kind of slightly walks away from Rose and climbs inside a cardboard box, as they do. And then we hear, meow.
This is the weirdest meow. It was so weird.
It echoes, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it was also like, it sounded like a man making a meow sound, like a concerned meow.
What does a concerned meow?
It was like, meow.
Does it?
Yeah, it's really weird. Like, I was watching the episode, I stopped it, and I was like, what the fuck was that? That wasn't a cat.
Yeah.
It was really weird.
But yeah, we hear the little mew through the echoes, and then Rose goes over to the box and it's gone.
Yeah.
She goes, doctor, and the doctor runs over, picks up the box, and he goes, whoa!
He's really impressed.
He's like wafting the air.
Yeah. He's like, oh, smell that.
Yeah, he's like, oh, iron residue left behind by a large power source. Yeah, so
there's your answer of the stinky smells.
But it's like nothing though, isn't it? It's like, we've had... How many times in Doctor Who has something happened? The doctor's like, it would take something of enormous power to generate something like this, and it doesn't smell like burnt toast. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe it does. Maybe just nobody addresses it. maybe people are thinking it's something else.
Yeah. But yeah, the doctor's kind of established there's a huge like power source on the street, so they head off to find it. And he says, he goes, keep them peeled, Lewis.
She's like,
And yeah, they wander off in their separate ways. Back in Chloe's room, she's just yelling at her drawings.
She's like,
I tried to cheer you up by giving you friends, but you're still unhappy. And they're just kind of like running around like angry or like crying. So she tries to draw something else.
A scribble.
But she makes a mistake, yeah. So she ends up like just scribbling over the page. Now we cut to Rose, who's just kind of wandering down the street until she hears a noise come in from like one of the garages.
Which she assumes is the cat.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, have you stuck in there, kitty?
Yeah.
I love how she hears...
That's you.
Yeah. I love how she hears the rattling and then she walks up to the door and she's like, I'm not going to open it. I'm not going to open it. And then she looks at the handle and then opens it.
That's also you.
Also my willpower, yeah. I won't do this. Oh, go on then.
I'll give it a go. You only live once,
go
innit?
on then.
Yeah. So she opens the door and then this giant fuzzy
Scribble
creature flies out of the door, hits Rose square in the gob and knocks her on the floor. And Rose is like swatting at her. She's like, ah! And it's like it's attacking her, like flying in and out, like hitting her, but it's kind of all over the place because it's a scribble.
How did you feel about this? Were we supposed to feel scared for Rose and feel like she was in danger?
I assume not.
I don't know, because I thought it was all quite silly.
Shocker.
I was like, why is this scribble? Like, they could have made it look a bit more sinister. A bit more.
Give me teeth.
Yeah, Chloe Webber tried to draw teeth of something and then she just scribbled around it.
Yeah. So the doctor runs around the corner and he kind of like sonics the scribble. And then it just stops and like shrinks down to the size of like a tennis ball? Maybe a little smaller?
Yeah. I did notice here, this felt very wizardly. The way he was like... Yeah, like he like...
Yeah, he like runs with his swishy trench coat.
How would you say that? He like thrusts the Sonic towards it as if it's a wand.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? And then it shrinks.
He's not Matt Smith yet. Don't worry.
I don't know. I feel like this is more Harry Potter.
Yeah, I how the Sonic is capable of doing this, I don't know. Let's not go into it. Yeah, so the scribble monster's been shrunk and is like deactivated, I guess. So the doctor takes it to the TARDIS to kind of scan it, do some tests, and he deduces that it's made of graphite. He says it's got the same makeup as an HB pencil. He says whatever we're dealing with can create things as well as take them. But he says, why would you make a scribble creature? And Rose says, well, it's what you do when you like want to get rid of something, like when you make a mistake, like a drawing, like a child's drawing.
I think this was a bit of a jump. I think it's a bit of a reach.
Yeah.
Like, that could have just been a scribble. It could have come from anyone. You would think maybe an artist, not like, oh yeah, you know, like children scribble things out all the time.
As they do.
As they do.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, she did say that.
She just say, I saw a little girl in the window. She gave me the creeps.
So
yeah.
fair enough.
Rose kind of assumes that she might be related to the disappearances.
Yeah, she's like, that kid was weird.
Yeah.
She's definitely scribbling things out.
And the doctor goes, copper's hunch. And she goes, permission to follow it up, Sarge. And they go on a jolly.
He's like, are you deducing? And she's like, yeah.
Can't tell if that's like pride or if that's like condescension.
It's both. It's banter. You know, I quite like the banter between Doctor and Rose in this episode. I think sometimes it can be
This is the right way, I think, because it doesn't come across like
too flirtatious. It's more like a laugh.
a lot of the time I have the issue with those two where it's like you feel like you're in a room with a couple that love each other too much. Do you know what I mean? You kind of like, if you were you wouldn't want to be in a room with just you and these two because they just make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Where in this episode,
like
they're not. They come across more like I imagine we would.
Mates, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? In the sense of they just pissing about.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, because like in some of the episodes, the viewer feels like the third wheel. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
You're like, oh god.
Yeah.
But this, you're like, oh yeah, great banter.
Great banter.
Great banter.
Yeah. So the Doctor and Rose knock on Trish Webber's door.
I like this
Chloe's
interaction.
When she opens the door and they go, hi, can we see your daughter?
She's like, no. And he goes, okay. And then walks
okay,
off.
bye. And just turns
She's
around.
like, why?
Why would that be your opening sentence, though? Hi, can we see your daughter?
Well, how else are you going to say, can we come into your house? And then be like, oh, have you got somebody upstairs?
Well, no, you'd be like, hi, we're here from Child Services.
Well, she knows. She was there. She overheard that the police.
Was she in the street at the time?
Yeah, she was.
Was she? Oh, okay, never mind.
She was like on the bottom of the drive, so she knew.
Okay,
because she was
fair
like,
enough, then.
when they said they were the police, she was kind of like, oh no, they're gonna find out.
They're gonna find out that my daughter's a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, so the fact that they're like, can we see your daughter? And she's like, no.
Yeah. So yeah, the daughter goes, okay, bye, and they turn around and start walking away, and she's goes, like, why? And they go, well, we're just looking into the street and thought she might want to help. But we don't want to bother you, so we're just going to go. And they turn back around. She goes, can you help her? And then the doctor like turns out, he looks so smug.
He's got like the biggest grin. He's like, yes.
He goes, yes, I can. Not yes, we can.
Yeah. Of course he does. Poor Rose.
Yeah, doctor.
Yeah, well, guess what, Doc? You goof it up, so no, you can't.
Well, he goofs this up or he goofs...
Well, but everything.
He ends up goofing his life up.
I mean, he goofs this up. He doesn't save the day, does he? Spoilers. But... Do you know what? Screw it. Screw it. I don't care. If this is spoiled, you shouldn't be watching it anyway.
Oh no, I got Fear Her spoiled for me 20 years later. Yeah. So Trish says that Chloe is like a secluded and kind of a quiet child.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like inside now, by the way. She's invited them in. She says like she's really good in school. She always gets A's and B's, and she's just kind of hyping her up. Really, she's a hype beast, you know.
Yeah, she's like, my child is great.
My child's freaking sick, man.
Well, she's usually really good. She's a wonderful person. But she's not the same as she used to be. It's like,
yeah, she's like, I'm telling you this because I don't want you to get the wrong idea.
Yeah, don't judge her before you meet her. It's like, my God.
Yeah. Rose says, what about her dad? And she goes, he's dead. And she goes, oh, I'm sorry. You wouldn't be if you'd have known him. Ouch.
Right. I'm going to address this now.
Yeah.
Because it comes up a lot in this episode.
Yeah.
Do you agree that the whole thing between this obviously clearly abusive father is played really weirdly and wrongly? I feel like it's quite brushed under the rug. Do you mean they're like, oh yeah, she like the mother says, Chloe got the worst of it.
Yeah,
and it's that's quite dark. But they're like, well,
yeah, I don't think it's necessarily brushed under the rug, but I think it's a very big issue for an episode this goofy to try and tackle.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't feel tonally right, does it?
And it not even just tonally. I think it's just from a writing perspective. This episode's already got enough going on.
Yeah, I agree.
Like you could I get the whole point is that Chloe's meant to feel lonely and isolated, but you could have just had that by saying the father is absent. Or have him die, but just not be abusive.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He died in a car crash, or he left before I was born, or something like that. And you still kind of get the thing across.
Because there's so many things, because it's we find out she's having nightmares, and are they linked? Not really to the creature that...
The nightmares aren't linked, other than the fact that the creature allows the nightmares to come to life.
Yeah, so... But
is it purely there to have a threat, do you reckon?
I think so, yeah.
Is this whole subplot in there just to have an antagonist in the end?
But then it doesn't need it.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't need it.
I think it would be better without.
Yeah. I know, I mean, it's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
And I do think it's an important thing to discuss and to tackle. But yeah, I don't think its implementation here is not right.
Again, I could be wrong, but I feel like it kind of... To put something this heavy and important in such a goofy episode where we get a man being like, you took a council axe out of a council van. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
I feel like
I would
if you're going to cover it, you need to take it more seriously.
Would be best in an episode with a similar tone to something like Father's Day, maybe.
Yeah.
Something it doesn't have to be a grim episode. It's just an episode that's a bit more, takes itself seriously.
Yeah.
An episode that's more character focused rather than whatever this is.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So Rose has to use the toilet. and
the mum is just being a typical mum, it seems. She's like, yeah, whatever. And then just turns to the doctor and is like, yeah, she's brilliant. She likes drawing. And
yeah. Just talking his ear off about this kid.
Just like, okay.
The doctor does not give a shit.
Yeah, he understands. He's like, okay, I'll keep her distracted talking about her child whilst you go snoop.
So, yeah, Rose goes upstairs, but she does not go to the toilet.
No.
Damn.
She jumps into a
lied.
cupboard.
She hides in a cupboard, and then she sees Chloe leave her room and go downstairs. So then she sneaks into Chloe's room, and she obviously sees all the pictures on the wall.
Yeah.
And everything. And she's a bit like, this kid's creepy. The doctor talks to Chloe.
Oh, this scene is
yes.
so weird. This episode is so weird.
Yeah, they're in the kitchen and Chloe's getting something from the fridge.
No. She's glugging milk from a carton. She's come downstairs to drink some milk from a carton.
We've all done that.
No.
Okay, I've done that.
I'm not surprised.
What are you trying to say?
Like if you look, I've drank from the bottle a couple of times. I mean, I often drink from a Pepsi Max bottle, but there's something about
you
milk.
drink exclusively from. I can't remember the last time I saw you pour some Pepsi into a glass.
Yeah.
You drink exclusively from the bottle.
That's
Don't act
fine.
like, oh, I'm a classy lady that did a naughty thing once.
Oh no, I exclusively drink from my singular Pepsi bottle, which I put in the fridge. But it's milk. Do you mean?
Yeah.
There's something about mouth contamination in your milk. And do you mean it's like, don't encourage bacteria, pour it in a glass.
Maybe they don't share milk. Maybe that's just Chloe's milk carton. You never know.
Yeah, the mum's
maybe the mum's lactose intolerant. That's fine.
The mum's cottoned on to her drinking out the milk carton, and she's like, right, she's labelled it Chloe's milk.
Yeah.
Maybe the mum's too scared to say anything. She's going to scribble me out of existence. I better not tell her not to drink out the carton.
Do you reckon she can just draw milk and just keep stock in the fridge?
Well, she did, but why doesn't she draw herself a fridge filled with milk?
Why doesn't she draw a mini fridge to go in her bedroom and then she doesn't have to keep going downstairs past her mum that she hates?
Yeah. So yeah, right next to her.
Yeah. Anyway. Chloe's at the fridge and the doctor tries talking to her and he says like, oh, you like drawing, do you? She's like, yeah, pretty much.
She's like, I'm making something.
Yeah.
He's like, all right.
He's like, nah, I'm rubbish at drawing me. Your stick men are about my limit. I can do this though. And then he does the Spock thing, the Vulcan
and
thing.
she just blankly stares at him. And then she just, they don't stop moving. It's like,
Moaning is what she said.
oh, moaning.
Yeah.
Sorry, my handwriting is a bit rubbish and small.
He's just, he's just standing, like, looking at her, doing the little Vulcan-like thing with his fingers. Yeah, she deadpan stares at him for 2 seconds and goes, they don't stop moaning.
And he's like, right.
He's just, I can imagine him turning to Trish and going, you're right, she's weird.
Yeah.
No, he tries to comfort her. Sorry, she tries to comfort her, Trish, that is. And she's like, oh, Chloe, are you okay? She goes, don't touch me, Mum. And upstairs, Rose is looking around the room, and then she hears, like, thumping.
Yeah.
And it's coming from Chloe's closet. And, Rose opens it up, and she pushes past the hangers, and she sees a drawing of a man in the back that we find out to be Chloe's dad.
Yeah, it's like a really big, angry drawing of a man.
With a beard.
With a beard.
Yeah.
And he's got like a big, scary face looking as he's going to
and this red light's coming out, and he's like going, I'm coming to hurt you. Which part of me's like, that's a bit goofy, isn't it? Because especially later, he's like, I'm coming, Chloe. And I'm like, it's a bit goofy. But at the same time, if it's from the nightmare of a child, yeah, fair enough, all right.
I guess if she feared him coming back to hurt her.
Yeah.
But it just feels a bit weird, doesn't it?
Yeah. So Rose calls for the doctor. She's going, doctor! And he runs upstairs, and he kind of bursts into the room with Trish and Chloe.
Oh, I like
that. And I love this bit because the doctor closes the closet, and she goes, look at it. And he goes, no tar.
Yeah, no tar. And
then so Rose starts talking about the pictures in the room and says that Chloe's got a power and she's used it to take the local kids.
I mean, and then the mum, to be fair, is like, why did you come into my daughter's bedroom? Why have you been snooping? Get out of my house.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. And the doctor's like, but you've seen them move. She's like, no.
No, prove it.
No, prove it.
Yeah.
It's so petty, but I feel really bad because she's a child, and I feel like I shouldn't say anything.
She's a bad actress.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yes. I don't think she's been in anything else.
I feel really bad because during kids, a lot of the time and it's not a definite thing because there's a lot of brilliant child actors out there, but I think they haven't got the nuance. And my God, part of this is where like Chloe's mum comes running in to like be like, "Are you okay?" Because obviously,
yes.
Things are happening in her bedroom and there's screaming and whatever, and she goes to like hold her, and this child literally, instead of she's trying to obviously shrug her mum off, but instead she's just like bobbing her shoulders up and down. And I was like, oh, and the way she's like like I can't. I this is really difficult for a podcast to explain what I'm doing, but just watch the scene and it's
I mean, this is kind of a weird issue, isn't it? Because it's like, I know what you mean in terms of kids don't have the nuance and, you know, they haven't got the experience and they don't often know what they're getting into when they sign up for being actors and stuff. Do you know what I mean? A lot of times, like, their guardians or parents or whatever sign things on their behalf, and it's a bit weird. But at the same time, as you said, there are some great child actors out there. So being a minor is not an excuse for being a bad actor.
This is the thing, and this is where it differs. This isn't her fault for not giving the best performance. This is the directors or whoever. This
is the casting director's fault for casting someone who can't act.
Yes, completely.
Yes.
And I feel bad because then, I mean, I say she's probably older than us. Yeah. So I feel bad because she was a child, but throughout this.
Yeah, she's not great.
She's not great, no. And I feel bad about saying
I think the voice doesn't help.
I mean,
because she's always like whispering, but like she tries to like shout whisper. She's like, she's talking like this all the time, and it's not.
I mean,
it's grating.
I don't think
it's annoying.
That bad. Things is for me like later on when she's like running around the room trying to find a pencil to scribble onto stuff, and I don't know. It doesn't look like she's doing it sinisterly, if that's a word.
I mean, to be fair, she wouldn't be in context of the episode because she's not sinister.
Yeah, but like it doesn't look like she's like, what's the word? She's hyper focused on finding this thing because to draw somebody out of existence. It just kind of looks like a child who's been told to go walk over there and pick up a pencil. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
But anyway.
Yes. Trish tells them to leave.
Yeah.
She says, what do you do? She's just a child. And the doctor says, yeah, but you're terrified of her.
Yeah, which is fair. That's one thing that he said when they initially go into the house. And the doctor's talking to the mum. He's like, why are you scared of her?
Yeah.
And she's like, what?
Yeah. This is the part where we cut back to downstairs. They're standing in the kitchen and the doctor's just eating marmalade out of a jar.
Yeah, with his fingers.
He's got his 2 fingers in the jar and he just spoons some out and then starts sucking it. And Rose just gives him a look like...
She just shakes her head like, no.
And he like really slowly like licks it off his fingers and then puts the lid back on the jar. And Trish is just looking at it.
This, again, I love this because when I first saw this, I thought he just went into the cupboard, eaten the marmalade, and you know that typical thing of like when the other person has left the room or is about to come back in, and someone's like, stop it before they come back. The fact she's literally sitting or like standing against a cupboard across from him.
I do like this moment.
She didn't even say anything. She's just watching him eat her marmalade with his fingers. She's like, all right.
I do like this moment, not just as a bit of like quick physical comedy, but the fact that this is one of the few instances we get, I think, where
he feels like an alien.
With the 10th Doctor specifically feels like an alien.
Yeah.
Because he's so much more personable and human than the other incarnations. This feels like something that like Matt Smith would
I was going to say, this feels very 11.
Yeah. So, it's not even him spooning it and eating it. It's the way he slowly puts the lid on and then puts it back on the counter. He doesn't put it in the cupboard. He just puts it on the counter.
It's just like to the side of him.
Yeah. But this is when he starts like kind of pondering out loud. And he says, if living things can become drawings, then maybe drawings can become living things. And then he goes, oh, and just like shudders. He says that, Trish says like, yeah, but her dad's dead. And he says, well, her real dad is dead, but the one in her nightmares is real and is pretty close to crashing into this world. So Trish says that, this is when Trish says that Chloe nearly got the worst of it when he was alive.
I don't know, it just feels a bit... It's so sad, and that's the thing. It's such a horrible thing that obviously this child has had to go through.
It's a heavy topic to be... It's weird. It's weird because it's...
So uncarefully talked about.
Yeah, because it's too... I don't know. It's too, like, focused on to be subtext, but it's not focused on enough to be an actual plot point. So it kind of sits in this weird position of I don't know what its relevance or its purpose is to this story. So yeah, I know what you mean. It kind of sits in that weird place.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, Trish says that Chloe got the worst of it when he was alive. And Rose asks the doctor, how can a child be doing any of this? So he goes, let's find out. So he runs upstairs.
And she's just sitting on the bed.
Like a weirdo.
Yeah, just look at again.
She's just sat cross-legged on the bed.
She said, Chloe sits weirdly. That's my notes. Saying that is kind of how I'm sat right now.
I'm going to make it the thumbnail to this episode.
Yeah.
Just her sat on the bed cross-legged.
Yeah.
They go up to Chloe's room and the doctor basically does his telepathy shtick where he goes up and puts his hands on the side of her head.
I don't like the fact that her eyes roll back.
But when he used it on Renette, he used it to go into her psyche and to try and like read her thoughts or whatever. With Chloe, he just sends her to sleep because he can do that.
How?
Don't know. Don't worry about it. Matt Smith can speak baby. Don't think about it.
Yeah, but that makes more sense.
Oh yeah, sure it does.
Then put just
Stormageddon, Destroyer of Worlds, or whatever it is. Yeah, totally. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I like when Capaldi talks to the dinosaur.
Yeah.
I speak baby. What about when Matt Smith just shushes Craig and like he can't talk? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, well, maybe
the doctor can just do stuff, okay? You don't question it.
Maybe he is a god.
He just does stuff, and you're like, how can you do that? He's got alien in it.
It's just like magic. Alien.
Yeah,
yep.
Pretty much.
Well, yeah. Nah, I think
that's how you answer every like Harry Potter plot hole. Magic. How does this happen? Magic, innit?
I think the Doctor's probably part of the Pantheon. He's got to be, because he can just pull out some random.
Oh, is that going to be the
shiz.
twist? Timeless Child is the final boss of the Pantheon.
He has to fight himself. Anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, he kind of sends Chloe to sleep.
And then he goes, parlay. I want to have parlay.
Yeah. What I do find funny is when he sends her to sleep, the way she just kind of falls backwards.
Yeah, her legs are still crossed. And
Yeah, the Doctor says, like, I'm now speaking to the entity inhabiting this child. And he says he's talking in reference to whatever section of the Shadow Proclamation and stuff.
yeah.
And
She answers back, I don't parlay or something with shadows.
yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah, he goes, I want Chloe Webber. And the doctor knows it's lonely. And he seems kind of sympathetic, and he tells it to identify itself. And it goes, Isolus.
oh.
And yeah, we kind of learn that an Isolus is like an alien life form. Typically has about 4 billion siblings.
Sheesh.
Yeesh.
I was gonna say the most like parent thing. Expensive Christmas.
Imagine having to buy new clothes every like couple of months because they keep outgrowing it. God.
To be fair, well, I mean, we see the Isolus in this part, don't we? We see the clip of where it crashes
Yeah.
and finds Chloe, and they're really cute.
I thought you just didn't think that.
They're
Yeah.
like little, like a little ethereal fairy butterflies.
Yeah, so it's an alien life form. Typically has about 4 billion siblings, and they kind of go on a journey from one end of space to the other. But this one is now alone because it got separated from the group. And at this time, while it's like talking to the Doctor, Chloe's arm has like subconsciously picked up a pencil and is doing the Death Note scribbling.
Yeah, it's
It's like sped up like 5 times. She's like,
she's drawing the
she's drawing the Isolus mother.
Isolus.
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 Jake Sully.
That's just terrible.
Yeah, she starts drawing the Isolus mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. This is when we get the flashback of Chloe kind of sat at her bedroom window, and the Isolus is like a little flower jellyfish thing.
Just floating in from the window.
It flies in through the window, and she breathes it in. It kind of like flies into her mouth.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Doctor kind of explains that the Isolus and Chloe need each other. Or rather, the Isolus and its siblings rather need each other, and they can't be alone. They grow up together over thousands of years in space, and they Rose says, like, what do? And he says they play. They use imagination to create worlds, and they play. But a solar flare spread the seedling pods too far away, and this one fell to Earth, where it crashed, presumably in the street outside.
Yeah.
It I can't even speak. It befriended Chloe because the both of them were alone.
This bit I really like is the actress who plays Chloe's mum.
Yes.
I've seen her in a couple of things, and I think she's really good. But the fact that the way she says, like, it came to her because she's so lonely, and the way she like breaks down.
Yeah, and she hugs Chloe's body.
And Chloe just sits there, it's like,
Like, she's still asleep at this point, isn't she?
Actually, yeah, I think you might be right.
So like,
it's that kind of thing. Oh, it's so sad. It's like her being like, she's obviously tried after everything. She's tried to raise her and look after her.
Yeah.
But there's only so much you can do for kids, isn't there?
Yeah, the Doctor says that the Isolus wants a surrogate family. It's desperate for love, and it's basically using whoever it can to do that.
Yeah.
And at this point, Chloe's dad starts waking up again in the closet, and he's doing his usual "I'm coming, Chloe" kind of things,
and she's twitching.
Yeah, she's kind of like shaking, and the Doctor asks Trish how he calms Chloe when she has nightmares, and she says, "Oh, I sing to her." So the Doctor says, "Well, do it then. Do it, lady."
And then she
go sing to her. So yeah, she sings. Go on, Charles, sing the song. Love, kookaburra love.
I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot what it was.
Yeah, so she's like smoothing her head and singing the song, and it clearly starts to like calm her down. And the dad goes home. back to the back end of the cupboard. So we cut downstairs again, and Trish basically is talking about the father, and she says that she thought they were free of him after he crashed the car.
Yeah.
That's all we get. Rose asks if she ever talked to Chloe about it, and Trish basically says, I didn't want to. And Rose says, maybe that's why she felt so alone, because she didn't have a dad anymore and she couldn't talk to you about it.
Yeah.
And the doctor says, Chloe and the Isolus, two lonely kids who needed each other.
It was quite sad, didn't it?
Yeah, it was quite sad. Again, in concept, this is interesting.
Like, if this is the thing, you could have taken...
If it was just a completely different script.
Well, that's the thing. If instead the father wasn't an abusive dad, but was a very caring dad.
Yeah.
And it was her trying to deal with her grief.
Yeah.
And maybe she was, I don't know, trying to bring him back maybe through the drawings.
But yeah, that'd actually make way more sense.
Yeah. That would be a lot better. You wouldn't be dealing with such a heavy topic because you could it would still be heavy, you know, her losing her dad. But then it could be that kind of thing towards the end, her and her mum having a chat and being like, you know, I haven't discussed it, maybe because it was too sore for the mum as well.
Yeah.
Come to the thing of like, he's gone, but we have to remember him and move on. That would make more sense than...
Yeah, I think that makes more sense because it makes more sense then for Chloe to feel alone because she's lost a parent that she loved.
Yeah.
It makes more sense for Trish to not want to talk about it because here it just sounds like she just doesn't want to talk about her abusive partner.
Yeah.
Where then it would be like she doesn't know how to... Chloe doesn't know how to process her grief because she can't talk to her mum about it.
Yeah.
And her mum doesn't know how to process her grief, so she doesn't talk to Chloe about it.
Yeah. But the two of them...
So they're both suffering the same thing.
But separately.
Without talking to each other when they could. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, that's an interesting point you brought up. The thought that Chloe maybe thinking she could bring him back.
Yeah.
With the Isolus power. Yeah, that's interesting.
And the fact that the Isolus is like, well, I'll use you or work with you to bring people to me, and then I help you bring your dad back.
I can create this surrogate family and your dad can be part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a lot nicer.
Yeah.
But we didn't get that.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
No.
So at this point, Rose and the Doctor go back to the TARDIS. They want to try and locate the Isolus pod.
I quite laugh at the fact that Rose is speaking to the Doctor about how, again, when they go back to the TARDIS, about how he seems to be... what's the word?
He's like sympathetic
to the Isolus, and she's asking why.
She says it's
so
like you're on its side.
Yeah.
Yeah. He says, you know, it's just a kid, and the Doctor says, yeah, I know, but kids can be right little terrors.
Yeah, the way Rose says that, she's like, right little terrors. What was she gonna say?
She says she's got like cousins and whatever. The Doctor says, yeah, you have to try and understand them. She says, that's easy for you to say, you don't have kids. He goes, I was a dad once. She goes, what?
And then he ignores her and he's like, oh,
because his little machine he's
my gadget is done, let's go. She's like,
Also, like before all this, we do get a shot of Chloe sneaking out of the house and she follows Rose and the Doctor to the TARDIS and she's kind of like peeking on them.
yeah.
And then runs back to the house. Yes.
So obviously when they leave to go, they tell Chloe's mum to keep an eye on her and don't let her out of your sight. And then Chloe,
what does she immediately do?
Lets her out of her sight. She sneaks out. I put down, she's really fast. Because she just kept up with them. But also the fact that...
they were only parked at the end of the street.
Yeah. And then she goes back and pops the head off of a doll. Like...
Yeah, she goes back to the room. She pulls the head off her doll.
And there's pencils in the body.
Yes.
I was like, why would she put the pencils in a doll?
Well, you really hit all the plosives in that sentence.
I'm sorry.
She pushed the pencils.
Push the pencils. It's a good job we got a pop filter.
Yeah, I don't think it worked then.
I know, because I specifically made sure I didn't.
The doctor's made this little gadget, and he says he's located the pod in the street. As him and Rose are leaving the TARDIS, Chloe's, like I said, she's pulled the head off this doll, and she's using the pencils to start drawing the TARDIS.
Yeah.
And the Doctor.
Pretty good drawing of the TARDIS, don't you think?
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
Better than I could do. As they're leaving, Rose kind of is in front of the Doctor, and she says the pod travels from the heat of the sun, so it needs heat as well, not just love, right? And she hears like a crack, and then she turns around and the Doctor's gone.
Yeah, he's holding that little doobery widget, and then he drops it.
Doobery widget, yeah.
What would you call it?
The gadget that he was building.
Thingamajig.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously because he vanishes.
Whatchamacallis.
Yeah. The
MacGuffin,
thingamabob.
yeah.
And then it falls and smashes.
Yeah. So she turns around, the Doctor's gone, the TARDIS is gone, and this thing is just smashed on the floor. And she quickly pieces together what's going on.
Yeah.
So she runs back to the Weber house.
Shouts at the mum.
Trish goes, "It's okay, I've taken all the pencils off her." Chloe... Rose pushes past and runs upstairs into Chloe's room and obviously finds the drawing.
And she's like, "Bring him back."
Yeah,
And she's like, "Leave me alone."
Yeah, she goes, "I want to be with Chloe Weber."
"Leave us
and
alone."
Rose is like, "He's the only one who could help you. No, bring him back." And she goes, "No, I want to be with Chloe Weber."
And then she just stops and like taps her and it's like, "I know."
Yeah, I mean, it seems very like drastic, but I guess that's her remembering what the Doctor said about it's just a kid, and you've got to be patient, and you've got to try and understand it.
And she kind of feels guilty for shouting at it.
Yeah, I think that's her initial thing is, oh my God, bring the Doctor back. But then, when she says, no, I want to be with Chloe Weber, that's Rose's thing of like, oh yeah, I remember what the Doctor said.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a nice... It seems like it kind of comes out of nowhere, the way she just shifts gears so quickly. But yeah, I do get why, and I think it's important that this scene came right after the scene with the Doctor saying that in the TARDIS.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rose tells Trish to keep an eye on Chloe, and she leaves. So they start watching the Olympics together. Rose goes out into the street and she talks to Kel. And because he's still there, and
he's admiring his the pothole.
Look at that, smooth as a baby's bottom. That is not a mark on it.
You could eat your dinner off this.
Rose asks if there's anything nearby in the last few days that would give off a lot of heat, and he's not paying attention. He's just talking about tarmac.
He's like, "Oh, secret council recipe."
This guy's so weird.
I love how he has completely and utterly thrown his not only his life but his complete personality into his job. He lives and breathes.
Get you a man like Kel.
Yeah, this man has been there all week perfecting these little potholes.
I know, he's not even done the whole road.
No, well,
he's just done these little squares.
He's like, "This one's perfect, but I don't understand because I did that one down there and it didn't turn out the same." Like, he's going to dig it up and redo it.
He's really OCD.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what? I got something to bring up. It makes me so sad.
What?
So, it's at this point that Rose works out that this pothole has been there.
Well, she asked him to think back 6 days.
Yeah. I love how focused he is on his.
Yeah, well, he says, "Well, 6 days ago, I was filling this pothole for the first time."
Yeah, this is when I filled this pothole.
Yeah, and Rose works out that the pothole is probably where the pod landed, and it's the hot tar that's keeping it warm. So this is the moment we've all been waiting for. She
runs into the council van and grabs the council axe from the council van and starts digging up a council road. And he's going to report it to the council.
I love him.
I love him so much. He's too good.
Bring out the Kel Eaglemoss figure, please. I will buy it immediately.
It's so funny.
15 bones for a Kel Eaglemoss? Yes, I'll do it.
It's so funny. And then Rose, like...
When's Kel going to show up in Big Finish? Bring him back.
Well, this is my point, and I felt really like I was thinking on it, and it made me laugh, but then it made me really sad. So we spent all this time perfecting this little pothole to make sure it's extra smooth because they're having the Olympic runners run through the street, but Rose digs it up and he doesn't have a chance to refill it, so when they come round it's all chopped up.
Oh, poor Cal. Thing is, he's so supportive later as well.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and
yeah.
Rose instantly mocks him. She finds the little
she finds
ship
the pod.
egg.
He goes, "What is it?" And she goes, "A spaceship, not a council
council one."
spaceship, I'm afraid."
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
This is good. This is a good scene. I like this.
you know when Rose said for the second time to Trish, "Don't leave Chloe."
Yeah.
Yeah, she left her again.
And she finds pencils again.
Yeah. Chloe wedges the door shut with a chair.
Yeah.
And she goes under the duvet and she grabs even more pencils.
How many pencils has this kid got?
I know, right?
How many pencils is your mum
Let me just say,
bought
I
him?
was a very arty kid. Like, I think I might have told you this before. Every Christmas, my parents used to buy me like an art set. Like one of those like cheap little wooden things you'd open up and you'd have different coloured pencils and felt tip pens and stuff. I had so many. I did not have as many as her.
Same. I was the same. I had lots of art things and no.
Yeah. And if I did, they were all in the same place.
I love
I wasn't hiding stuff.
like has her mum tried to take the pencils off her before? Because if so, this would make more sense. Because if she hasn't, then why has she got so many secret stashes of all these freaking pencils?
I can somewhat understand them being under the duvet. As a kid, just with a messy room. For me, it's the one hidden in the doll body.
That's unhinged.
That's wild.
That is wild. She's hollowed out this doll, stuck the pencils in there, and put the head back
I like
on.
the thought that she didn't just like pull the head off this doll and think, "Ooh, I could put some pencils in there." I like the thought that she was whittling a hole through the neck.
This pencil will fit in.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I thought they were going to get some like more creative and like I don't know, she was going to find an eyeliner from your mum's makeup bag and draw with it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Why don't she just draw a big pencil case?
Yeah, she only needs one pencil. That's what every time she's got like a selection of colours as well.
She should just use a pencil to draw two pencils and then you just have infinite pencils.
Yeah. Or what if she gets like those pencils that as you continue using it changes colour?
Oh yeah.
Maybe she got one of those.
Oh no.
So she's like, oh, all the colours I need.
Green TARDIS.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, she's got this extra hidden stash of pencils and she starts drawing the Olympic Stadium because that's still on TV. So Rose enters the house and she looks on the TV and she notices that all the people in the stadium have gone.
Yeah.
I guess this is the moment we bring up
why this episode has been removed.
Yeah.
Is it still removed?
I don't know. I think it might be back up now. So for context, Charles and I watched this through my own media. Not on iPlayer.
Yeah, Connor has the show.
Yeah. So obviously if you own this and you're watching this on Blu-ray or on maybe Amazon Prime, I'm not sure if it's like that everywhere, but if you own this, then you've probably seen the episode as it was at launch.
Yeah.
Where this whole sequence with the Olympics is narrated by BBC presenter Hugh Edwards.
Yeah.
However, if you watch on iPlayer, it's not on Disney Plus, so I don't have to worry about that. You may have noticed that this episode disappeared for a little bit. And then it went back up, and Hugh Edwards was removed, and he was dubbed over by a lady. No point getting into the whole thing because it's not really what this is about. But he did some bad stuff.
Yeah.
And controversial figure in the BBC. So I guess they wanted to just scrub any record of his existence out.
Yeah.
I get it from the BBC in terms of
why they would do that.
Yeah. But there is a part of me, I really like preserving things as they were. And I think, look, this is the episode as it was. Do you know I mean, just because we watch it doesn't mean we endorse the things he did.
No.
I don't know why we had to change this. I understand the BBC's decision to do it, but I will not be watching that new version. I own this as it is, and this is how I will be watching it. Not because I'm a Hugh Edwards sympathizer, but because it's a needless change in my eyes.
I guess. I don't know. I'm fine about it. It doesn't bother me either way. I guess it gives that option for those who would feel uncomfortable with him being in Doctor Who. Do you mean?
Yeah.
But especially because it's a family show. Do you mean maybe it would make people feel a bit more comfortable?
I'd understand it more if it was, I don't know, if it was like Jimmy Savile or something. Do you know what I mean? Like if it was someone whose entire identity is defined by decades of horrible things.
Especially, I mean, not that they say it's that, but especially when we're talking about
child abuse.
Child abuse,
Yeah.
maybe that's.
But yeah, do you know what I
Maybe
mean?
that's the reason why they've removed him from it.
Yeah.
Possibly, but yeah, we just, I guess, wanted to address it because it was relevant.
Yeah. The reason I bring it up here is because when Rose has obviously noticed that everyone's disappeared, we've got Hugh Edwards narrating this moment. He's like, everyone has disappeared. Everyone is gone. She goes, let's cut to Bob in the studio. And then the camera cuts and the chairs are empty. He goes, not you too, Bob.
Yeah, I noted that as well. Do you know if they've kept the exact script the same, just
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah. Well, either way, that's funny. Not you too. And the way he delivered it, I mean, you could tell he wasn't an actor. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but you say that.
It was very wooden.
Well, you say that though, right? But I went onto YouTube just to look at the new version. I can't remember her name. I might have it written down somewhere. But the girl who's like dubbed over his lines. Mm-hmm. And I think she's a part of the Doctor Who podcast, not our one, the official one.
Yeah.
And she also does voice acting work for Big Finish. So she is an actress. And I think she delivers the lines more stilted than he did.
Brilliant.
So, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've seen this loads of times and that it's weird to just hear someone else do it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that. But I think I like Hugh Edwards doing it more.
Well, I'm hoping...
Again, maybe part of it's just because I know Hugh Edwards was a BBC presenter for years.
Yeah.
So it just seems a bit more genuine rather than being just some nameless woman.
I don't know. It doesn't bother me either way. But yeah. I do like that line. Not you too, Bob.
Not you too, Bob. But yeah, Chloe's now... She says, not enough. Not enough. And I'm like, you just spent like weeks just drawing like children and cats in the street. And now you've got an entire Olympic stadium of people, and now you think that's not enough. Well, you've really ramped up your stakes very quickly.
Well, this is why, right? You said earlier about when, like, does the drawing have to be representative of the thing that she's drawing, or is it the fact that
because there's no way she drew all those people in detail.
Well, she didn't. She just drew little blobs.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And I don't know whether she actually drew the stadium, because if she did, how did the stadium not also vanish? Because the TARDIS vanished.
The TARDIS is alive.
She doesn't know that.
It doesn't matter.
Well, I guess. But I'm sure it's not only living things that can vanish.
I don't know, because we never see her make anything disappear that's not alive.
Well, so. she makes something appear that isn't.
What?
Alive.
What do you mean?
She makes a scribble appear.
Oh, I see what you mean.
So maybe. You don't know.
Good point, actually. Yeah, fair enough. Can't argue with that. But yeah, Chloe says it's not enough, so she goes over to a pile of books and she opens like an encyclopedia or something.
Of the Earth.
Yeah, and she goes over to a page that's got the Earth.
I'm surprised she didn't start with this.
She starts drawing the world.
Again, what is this going to do? Is this going to... How is this going to work?
I assume
all the people?
I assume the plan is to take all the people, but it does have that implication, doesn't it? Of, well, if it can do everything, will we just have Chloe Webber floating in space?
Will it also take Chloe Webber?
Well,
maybe.
Maybe. Will it take itself?
Maybe. It might do.
Don't think about it. It just makes less sense the more you think about it.
Well, she didn't think about it, did she? All this creature, they were like, yeah, we'll draw the Earth.
Yeah. So, she starts drawing the Earth.
On the wall.
Yeah. Rose still has the council axe. And now she's breaking a non-council door.
like in, what's it called? Oh, my God, I hate my brain.
You always do this. You always cut me off to make a statement that you don't know what you're going to say.
I know what I'm going to say. I just can't remember how to say it. here's Johnny.
The Shining.
The Shining,
Right.
thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Shining axe to the door. Well, it's more of a pickaxe than like a...
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like a fireman's axe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just chopping the door down.
Yeah, she's hacking at the door.
She is.
And Chloe's dad's pepped up again.
He's like, "Whoa."
So I'm coming to get you, Chloe.
Oh, this is really sad because Rose opens the door and Chloe's mum comes in and then the dad pipes up and then Chloe's mum's just standing there just like, ooh. And it's like, oh no. Help her.
Yeah. Rose says, like, it's okay, I've got the pod. We just need heat. But Chloe says it needs more than heat.
It needs love. Oh, this is terrible. This is actual steamy pile of poo.
Well, during this whole sequence, Kel goes, did you see that? Why is Kel in here? Like, I know he followed her because she took the axe and everything, but I like how she ran upstairs into Chloe's room and he's followed her upstairs into a stranger's house.
Well, she's taken the axe.
Yeah, I know.
It's a council axe.
But I feel like he would just wait outside because she's got to come back out at some point.
You don't know, this might be a council house. Taking that council axe and in that council house.
Yeah, so Kel notices that the drawings are moving.
Yeah.
And he goes, look, that one just moved as well. And Rose looks down and it's the drawing of the Doctor who's now pointing to the Olympic flame. And Rose says, she didn't draw that, he did.
How?
He's the Doctor, don't question it.
There's only so much we can have of that.
Yeah.
We need to stop with this. There needs to be sense. I can't take it.
Yeah. On the TV, Hugh Edwards is talking about the flame.
Oh, and how it brings so much love.
He says,
what do you mean, love?
He says it's more than a flame. It's a beacon of hope, a beacon of fortitude, of courage, and it's a beacon of love.
Is it?
Yeah, is it?
Is it? I mean,
Sure.
don't get me wrong. The Olympics is great and all, but I guess it kind of is.
Even if it is, I don't feel like that's something anyone would say.
No. Well, I don't know. BBC presenters, they run out of things to say, so sometimes they just
They also
waffle.
do a lot of stuff.
They just waffle on.
We don't trust BBC presenters anymore.
Oh.
We assume they're all wrong uns.
But yeah, they just waffle on about just some of the, I don't know, when they're talking, commentating on something random happening, they're like, oh yes.
Feels like what you're doing now.
Fuck you, right?
The look of like self-reflection you just had then.
It wasn't self-reflection. It was disgust at you for suggesting that. I'm trying to make my point, so get it in the bin.
Yeah, Rose realizes that the pod needs heat and emotion.
So stupid.
So
I
she
hate this.
she runs out into the street.
What happens here?
And she runs up to the barrier where at the end of the street where the guy carrying the torch is running past.
This is brilliantly stupid. She says, I've got to get closer. I can stop this from happening. She's just saying that to a police officer. He doesn't know what's going on. He thinks the Olympic torch.
Terrorists.
The Olympic torch. She's like an anti-Olympic freaking protester. I've got to stop this from happening. Like,
yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah, she runs over to the barrier, and she like kind of kisses the pod and then throws it into it. It's funny because at first I thought she was gonna like lob it over her shoulder towards the
get
flame,
it to land.
but no, she like two-handed throws it just straight up in the air,
And then it kind of
flies towards the torch.
Why does it think the torch is gonna...
I guess it's drawn towards the heat of the flame.
Or the love of the torch?
It's drawn towards heat. They say that.
Yeah,
don't
it
they?
is. Yeah, but still, like. What?
Yeah, but it makes me laugh because it hits the torch, and then the guy carrying the torch kind of like stumbles for a sec, but carries on running.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Chloe still drawing the world on the wall, and then she just stops and goes, "I can go home. Goodbye, Chloe Webber."
Yeah. And Chloe said, "Wait, come back."
I just love the thought. This whole thing is like we're both alone. We need each other, and then soon she's got a ticket out of here. She's like, "Bye."
Yeah. I'm out.
She doesn't say like, "Oh, thank you, Chloe Webber. I love you." Well, she doesn't say I love you, but do you know what I mean? It's just so quick.
Yeah.
So she's like, "I can go. Goodbye."
Oh God.
And then the Isolus flies out of her mouth and smashes through the window.
This little tiny fairy
And
thing.
then Chloe goes, "Mum," And then Trish runs over and gives her a hug. And Rose is like celebrating. She's going, yeah, I did it. And then Kel's like so supportive. He's like, yeah, you did it. What did you do? And yeah, this is when we notice all the missing children in the street have reappeared.
Yeah, it's popped back.
Yeah.
Granny's there.
Granny's there, yeah, walking around. All the parents like hugging their kids. Yeah, Maeve says to Rose, she's like, I don't know who you are or what you did, but thank you. But Rose is sad.
Yeah.
Because the doctor's not come back.
Yeah, she's like, thank that man too.
Yeah, thank that man for me. But yeah, Rose has this moment where she's like, wait, all the drawings have come to life. Yeah. So will the drawing of Chloe's dad. Now, this is interesting, because if I were her, I wouldn't have thought this means all the drawings are coming to life. I'd have thought this just means everything's reverting back to normal.
Yeah, agreed. Because, I mean, I have so many questions about this. So do the children remember what happened to them?
Do they remember Chloe Webber?
Do they remember Chloe Webber?
All the boys in the street know what Chloe Webber's bedroom looks like.
All the boys in the street, all the people in the street are now gunning for Chloe Webber. They're like, what the hell, man? You purposely drew me out of existence and then shouted at me for being sad about it.
Yeah.
She's going to be bullied for some time.
Yeah. Yeah, so Rose, let's say she said the drawing of Chloe's dad's going to come to life. So she runs over to the Webber house.
How's the door locked?
I don't know. I wrote this down as well. So the dad starts coming out. We never see him, but the light's coming out and we can hear him go, no, I'm coming. And then
he takes his sweet time, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, because we never see him. But yeah, all the doors, like the front door slams shut and is locked. Don't know how that happens.
Yeah.
All the doors in the hallway, so the door to the kitchen and the living room and everything's locked. So Chloe and Trish just kind of fall to the floor by the front door. Instead of like smashing a window or something, they like just fall to the floor and basically accept that they're gonna die.
Yeah.
As I was going to say, the dad comes down the stairs. He doesn't even come down the stairs. He just shines a bit of a red light down the stairs and just goes, I'm coming. But yeah, Trish tells Chloe that basically she's not alone anymore. And Rose says, sing to her. And then the both of them start singing together.
This is so stupid.
Sing the song.
No, I won't. Out of protest. I'm literally protesting this. This is so stupid. She literally banishes her dad by singing at him. Like,
she calls her dad gay.
What?
He says his life must be gay.
Oh, what?
Kookaburra gay, your life must be.
Ah. Is that what this is?
Yeah, those are the words.
Oh, but I didn't know what I thought. What?
Obviously, I'm assuming it doesn't mean gay as in homosexual.
Well, no,
I do like the thought that like Chloe's angry, abusive father's coming down the stairs and she calls him gay and he's like, oh, he just goes back in the cupboard, back in the closet.
No.
There we go.
No.
Yeah.
This episode makes no sense.
Yeah.
No sense at all. Like why this? I know it's supposed to soothe her after having a nightmare, but why? Why is singing?
Well, this is the thing. So I don't get why, if the Isolus has left now, it makes sense to me that all the drawings would be returned to normal as they were before because the power's not holding them there anymore. But if the Isolus is gone and therefore the power is gone, I don't know why the father's coming back to life.
Can you imagine if the Isolus was like, do you know what, for my returning gift, here's your dad.
Have your dad back.
Yeah.
Again, if in your little, like, I don't know, fan fiction version of this where the dad's really nice, that'd be a nice little ending, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like, hey, we brought the dead dad back to life.
Well, again, you could have a turning point where, you know, the thing goes, but then Chloe and her mum, especially Chloe, realises that her dad's now not going to come back because the thing that gave her power is no longer there, and then the two of them have to then have a conversation. Not they sit in front of the door singing Kookaburra Love at a scary shadow at the top of the stairs.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's it. I don't understand why the father's coming to life if the Isolus has left.
Yeah.
And even if he is, I don't understand why singing
is going to deter him.
I understood it in the earlier scene because
Yeah.
Chloe was kind of asleep. So it's as if she was having a nightmare then and there, and that was projecting him.
Yeah.
But she's like awake now and he's coming to life because of the Isolus's power. So why the singing kind of sends him away, I have no idea.
Because I know it's kind of brought up, and her mum does mention it at this point. Earlier on, Rose says that she's felt so alone because she hasn't discussed not only the death of her dad, but kind of how he was and how scary he was and how that affected her. I thought initially when I first watched this is what this scene was kind of going to be. The less the singing and more of her mum being like, this is how I also felt. This is how he also impacted me, but he's gone now and he doesn't have control of our lives anymore.
Yeah.
And he'll never hurt us again. And that then her fear of him would diminish and therefore would kind of take him back, not them just singing. Because
this needed a few more drafts, didn't it?
Yeah, it needed so many.
It needed to be rewritten.
It
but
did, yeah. But then time
I just want
restrictions.
I want Kel to join the Paternoster gang.
Yeah. But no.
Jenny,
we
Vastra,
can't,
Strax, and
because-
Kel the councilman.
We can't, because Kel loves his job so much. To take him
Hey,
from
Victorian
it would be to
London
take his life.
had a council. Yeah, that's what we need. Big finish. I want a story with Kel joining the Paternoster gang.
Well, yeah, you want that? Well, guess
where
what?
they meet up to fight the Vord.
Well, I disagree. I want him to join the what's it called? The Time Lord Council.
Right.
I want him in one of those silly
I
little
want Kel
caves.
to be the Time Lord Victorious.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
Imagine like Asylum of the Daleks exactly the same, but instead of Oswin Oswald being the Dalek, it's just Kel in that room making souffle.
Oh.
Yeah. Imagine Heaven Sent exactly the same, but instead of the Doctor, it's Kel. Oh man,
We love this man.
Just
Come back,
insert Kel
Kel.
into any situation, and it's funnier.
Bring him back.
Yeah. Yeah. So Rose, Trish, and Chloe now turn on the TV and they see that everyone has reappeared, and the Olympics opening ceremony is kind of continuing as planned.
They didn't.
It's miraculous. Everyone's just reappeared. Oh, Bob's back.
I love how they're like, so many people. Like what did they say? Like something like 80,000 people vanished,
Yes.
and they've all come back.
Yes.
So we'll continue. We'll ignore what happened.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
We will induct an investigation at some point in the future.
But for now,
Yeah.
the festivities.
Yeah, the camera cuts over to that torchbearer that's running,
This is ridiculous.
and he collapses.
He collapses on the ground.
Yeah.
He drops the torch. Nobody comes to his
No one
aid.
comes to help, and Hugh Edwards is just there going, does this mean the Olympic dream is dead? And then the music perks up, and the Doctor arrives and picks up the torch and runs off with it, and no one gives a crap about this man on the floor.
Well, yeah, they're literally like, yeah, someone
He's like,
else.
there's a mystery man. He's picked up the torch, and no one wants to stop him.
And I love how they just let him run all the way.
Yeah.
And then he lights it.
Yeah, he completes the entire run by himself. He runs into the stadium, and he lights the flame.
He's like, go on, you.
He's going, go home to your brothers and sisters. And the heat of the flame and I guess the emotion of the crowd power the pods, and the Isolus little ship shoots off into space.
I don't remember the Doctor in the Olympic opening ceremony.
I'll get to that in a minute. So at this point, Rose is on the main street again,
Yeah.
walking around, and the Doctor appears, and they reunited, and they run and hug each other. Lovely. She shows him a cake with edible ball bearings.
Yeah, I was going to say cake with...
He goes, top banana.
God.
That's why I sound like Paddy McGuinness.
I was going to say, I don't think he did say that.
Rose says, what now? And the Doctor says, well, we're going to watch the Olympics as planned. And she says, they keep trying to split us up, but they never will they?
Oh, she had to...
Will they, Doctor? And he just looks up at the sky and he's
Well,
like, storm's coming.
No, he says, never say never.
Yeah. Yeah, he says, there's a storm approaching. And then the episode, it's funny because you expect it to like linger on that shot for a little while, but no, he just goes like, a storm's approaching, and then like 1 second passes, and then it just cuts to the credits.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the episode. That's Fear.
That felt like a bit of a limp ending, but
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like the whole thing about a storm's approaching doesn't pay off.
No.
It's literally there to set up the fact that Rose is going to be leaving next episode.
Yeah.
But the I don't know what storm he thinks is approaching, because that never gets paid off.
No.
Yeah, is that like canon that the Doctor can just sense that one of his companions is about to croak? Like
I thought you could sense the weather. He's like, rain.
Well, I believe he could sense the weather. Do you know, I believe he'd be like, yeah, I can taste the salt in the air. I've got a wind coming from the south. But yeah, what do you think of Fear? The fact that you just yawned when I asked you that spoke volumes.
Sorry. So many things. I think, again, the statement that fits this so much is this needed more attention. This needed more time. It needed more rewrites. It needed more direction and focus.
Yes.
It needed more.
Yes.
To give us less. But overall, a better experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not.
Like I said, overall, I think...
You guys don't know how much convincing it took for me to actually get Charles to watch this.
Yeah.
I spent about 2 weeks trying to get you to watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I struggled.
We got ahead of schedule. We had an episode in the bank. And because it took 2 weeks to get Charles to watch this episode, we're now back to recording the day before we upload again.
Yeah, I literally watched it today. Well, the day of upload, a bit of a thing, but yesterday.
Yes.
I watched it yesterday. I struggled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't even watch it in one sitting.
No, I didn't. I mean, that was because I ran out of time and had to stop what I was doing and continue with something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just, again, I think it's got a really cool premise. And I think if...
Wait, what are you considering the premise? Are you considering the abusive parenting the premise, or are you considering the children being taken through drawings the premise, or the alien befriending a child because they're both lonely?
The fact that there's so many premises in this. And the fact that
or the Olympics.
Or the Olympics, yeah. I think if you could chop at least 2 of those out of this and it would feel better. Take the Olympics out. Take the what's it called? The parent, abusive parent out of this.
Yeah.
And I think slightly change it from, more that he's died and she's having to deal with grief. And I think we could have had a good story. But yeah, it's a hard watch, I think.
Yeah, it's a bit of a slog, isn't it?
Yeah, what do you think overall?
Same as you.
That's a cop-out, come on.
Yeah, it's... it's just... When people, like... I know I said this in the beginning, when people crap on Love and Monsters, Love and Monsters is a masterpiece in comparison to this.
Yeah, because the issue is with this as well, we get a couple of, like I said, funny banter bits with the Doctor.
I like the TARDIS landing the wrong way round. I like Kel.
You love Kel.
As a
don't
character.
Don't lie. You love Kel.
I love Kel as a character. I love Maeve, the batty old lady, as well.
Yeah.
I like her. The Doctor and Rose have some nice moments.
Yeah.
Everything related to the plot I don't care about.
Yeah.
I don't care about Chloe Webber. I don't care about Trish. I don't care about the Olympics.
I do.
I don't care about the kids on the street.
Yeah.
I don't care about anything that happens in this story.
I think that's fair enough. I really like the alien of the week. I think they're really interesting.
Yeah, it's a cool design.
They're just so cute, but also the fact that they're just...
It's a shame we don't actually get to see it do much other than the girl that plays Chloe Webber just whisper in a raspy voice.
Yeah, but then I guess that would take more money, wouldn't it? They already had to do all the drawings.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it's like possessing her, I'm not actually expecting like the Isolus to like just talk as it is and have a mouth or whatever, but it's just... I think it's annoying the fact that it's possessed this girl who, like we said, isn't a great actor, and kind of has a very irritating voice. Like when she's free of the Isolus and she talks normal, she was like, "Mum," like she's fine.
Yeah.
But that whispering, because she's got quite a raspy voice, that whispering she does, it just grates.
See, I'm not that bothered by
I just find it very annoying.
I don't know. I don't know why other than to differentiate between when she's talking and it's talking, I don't know why it changes her voice.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or how it does that. But either way, I think this could have been a lot more polished.
Yeah.
But hey ho.
Hey ho, indeed. Do you know what time it is, Charlotte?
Trivia.
It's trivia time, baby. Yeah. So, I mean, the first note I have is about Hugh Edwards.
Okay, well let's
I'll
gloss over that.
Yeah, I won't talk about what he did because I wrote it down here and I think, do you know what? I'm not going to talk about it. What I will say though, that woman I talked about that replaced him, I do have her name written here. Her name is Becky Wright.
Well, I'm sure she did a brilliant job, and I'm sure she did a brilliant job, and it can be a difficult thing sometimes having to replace, even though not that it was insignificant, but something that's not a massive change, but still changing stuff can sometimes bring negative thoughts or negative feelings towards something. So I'm sure she did a good job, and they did it for a good reason.
Yeah. In real life, Charlotte, it was actually the rower Steve Redgrave who delivered the torch to the Olympic Stadium in London. Hugh Edwards did actually do the commentary for the ceremony, and there's a bit of a marketing tactic. They actually played the sound of the Tardis landing at some point during the ceremony, just as a bit of a gimmick.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
The Doctor didn't mention anything about the Queen jumping out of a helicopter with James Bond, though, did he?
What?
Don't you what me?
What are you talking about?
That was like one of the main things of the opening ceremony.
Was it?
Yes.
I didn't watch. I was 13. I didn't watch the Olympics.
I was also 13.
Yeah, but I didn't care.
Well, that says more. Yeah.
The Queen jumped out of a helicopter.
Quote unquote. The Queen. She didn't.
Right.
She didn't. She was like, what, in her 80s?
That's why I'm confused. I'm like, I'm sorry.
But it was framed as if her and Bond.
Someone with a wig on, I assume.
Basically, someone dressed as the Queen
Right.
and someone dressed as Daniel Craig jumped out of a helicopter.
How do you dress like Daniel Craig?
I don't know. Dressed as Bond in a suit, man in a suit with blonde hair, jumped out of a helicopter and landed in the stadium.
Right.
But then it was revealed that Daniel Craig and the Queen landed. They then were in the stadium.
Right. Okay.
So there was like a little thing before with Bond was like, "Come on, Mom, we've got a show to do," and then like the two of them like, "Wee."
Come on, M. Do you know what M stands for? Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. This episode was originally lined for Series 3, but a script by Stephen Fry called The 1920s fell through, so it was moved to this slot to fill that up.
Stephen Fry wrote an episode?
He was going to, but it fell through.
Aw.
Yeah. Sadness.
I wish we'd had that.
Yeah. Right. I'm going to butcher these names. Nina Sasanya,
Yeah.
that's the woman who plays Trish.
Yeah.
And Abdul Salis, who plays Kel. They're both in Love Actually.
Yes, they are.
Yes. Love Actually was written and directed by Richard Curtis, who would go on to write Vincent and the Doctor.
Ah. Do you know what? Saying that, though, I shouldn't be surprised. Only because I feel like if anyone doesn't live in the UK, I could very much understand why they think that majority of Brits are linked in a way. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like
We're all just this small selection of actors and writers.
yeah, because they've all worked with each other.
Yes.
They all know each other.
Yeah, you know when people do the whole Kevin Bacon, like 6 degrees of separation?
My
you don't
God.
need Kevin Bacon. You just need British actors.
Yeah. Yeah, what's that?
Let's be honest, everyone's been in either Doctor Who, Harry Potter, or Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Everyone, through those like 3 IPs, you can link pretty much everybody.
that's true.
So, yeah. And you get some people like David Bradley that's been in all 3. So,
Oh, God, yeah, he
Yeah.
has.
yeah. Doctor Who magazine, they occasionally conduct like a reader poll of the readers' favourite stories, and they basically get all the viewers to rank the stories. And then in the issue, they'll do like the general consensus. And they've done this 3 times over the years, right? So in 2009, the first time they did it, there were 200 stories of Doctor Who at the time. And this episode, Fear Her, of 200 stories, ranked at 192. So
Yikes.
the lowest ranking story of the revival and the 8th worst story in the entire show's history.
Yeah.
Right? They did it again in 2014. And out of 241 stories, it was 240. And then they switched it up a bit in 2023. Instead of doing an entire ranking of the whole show, they ranked every Doctor stories individually.
Yeah.
And unsurprisingly, Fear Her was voted as the reader's least favourite 10th Doctor story.
Yeah.
So it's not just us. People don't like this one.
No, I'm not surprised.
I'm not going to lie. It's bad. But do I think, going off that like 2014 poll, do I think it's 240 out of 241? Nah, there were worse episodes than this.
I mean,
I've seen The Web Planet. That's a bad story.
I'm assuming that's old Who.
Yes, it is. But I've also seen Sleep No More. And
Oh, leave Sleep No More
I've
alone.
seen In the Forest of the Night.
Excuse me. Sit down, sir. How dare you? This is poo-poo. They're all right.
I've seen The Wedding of River Song. That's a bad episode.
Get out.
I've seen The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe.
I'm gonna have words with you in a minute, son. Leave my Moffat era alone.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
This is the first episode since The Doctor dances to have no deaths in the entire runtime. Do you do with that information as you may?
We don't know that.
What do you mean?
The runner may have died.
Well, not in the runtime.
We don't know that.
What happens afterwards? We don't know. Everyone dies eventually.
We don't know. He could have passed out.
Maeve could have passed in his sleep like the next day.
No.
We don't know.
Please no. We didn't see the cat come back.
We just have to assume it did. This story, believe it or not, sparked a petition from thousands of Doctor Who fans asking for David Tennant to carry the Olympic torch.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
He didn't do it. But you know who did?
Who?
Matt Smith.
Oh.
Matt Smith would carry the 2012 Olympic torch in Wales on the 26th of May, 2012.
Ah.
So we did get a doctor to carry the torch.
We did, yeah.
Just the wrong one.
Yeah.
And I've got 3 working titles for you.
Okay, let's see.
Do you know what? You oh no, sorry, I've got 2 working titles. But Russell T Davies rejected both of them for being too long.
Fear Her is terrible.
Yeah,
So let's
tell
see.
me, is Fear Her better or worse than Chloe Webber Destroys the Earth?
That's terrible. That's worse, yeah.
Or this one's so bad.
Oh no.
You're a bad girl, Chloe Webber.
I'm not even going to respond to that. What the fuck?
Fear Her's the best?
What the actual? What was that?
Fear Her's the best?
Yes.
Yeah.
There was sanity lost in this. Why would you ever name it that?
Look, Russell said no.
Thank you, Russell. You've done us a great service. You would have done
What's
us
your
a great...
favorite? What's your favorite episode of Doctor Who? I don't know. It's probably a cross between like The Empty Child and You're a Bad Girl, Chloe Webber.
Oh my god, I hate that so much. It makes me... I'm thank you, Russell. I would
Thank
be...
you for showing us mercy.
Well, obviously not enough. You still put this in the runtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that this was penned for Series 3 originally, this would have been a Martha story. So that's interesting.
Different vibes.
Is that why Rose is painted to be kind of competent in this one, do you reckon?
Oof.
Yeah, right. So, do you
I
have it?
can't imagine Martha shouting at the child.
I can, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah, I can.
Oh yeah,
imagine.
because it's the love of her life has gone. Bring him back.
Bring him back. Bring the hot man back in the suit and the trench coat.
And she's like, I love Chloe Webber. And she's like, well, I love the doctor.
I love Doctor Who.
But he doesn't see me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Do you have anything else to say about Fear Her before we close off?
No.
That face you made just looked like you just want to rid your hands of this.
I don't know. I will like to say, if anybody actually does like this episode, please tell us why. And not in like a, tell us why because you're wrong. In like a, please find something great for us to
See, I was going to say,
onto.
if anyone like genuinely likes this episode, seek help.
Oh, no. No, don't listen to him.
No,
you
yeah,
like what you
go
like.
On, yeah, go on, tell us, please.
Yeah.
Make your case. Like I say, there are good things in here.
Yes,
we
there
said
are.
some of them. They don't save it.
No.
It's still a bad episode. It's still the worst one we've covered so far.
But it makes the other episodes feel even sweeter. So,
That's awfully like optimistic of you.
yes. Woohoo.
Yeah, that's not in character. What's going on?
Well, we've got to have some lightness. I've dragged it through the mud enough.
Yeah. Right. Well, with that in mind, thank you all very much for listening. We
Yeah.
appreciate you as always. If you found this somewhat entertaining, then
Why?
yeah, check yourself again. Yeah, you can, keep up to date with everything we're posting. We're obviously making our way through series 2 at the moment, but we're also covering season 2 live, the new Shooty Gatwa series. So if you want to catch any of that, then you can see that too. Click the subscribe button. You can do that and find all of our stuff. If YouTube's not the place you want to keep up with your podcast, then you can check us out over on YouTube Music, on Spotify, or on Apple Podcasts. But yeah, thank you all very much for listening. We'll see you in the next episode where we're going to say goodbye to Rose Tyler.
Well, yeah.
Yes. But until then, stay safe. Stay away from bad child actors. And goodbye.
Bye.